Look at you. Pathetic. You're not even a shadow of what you once were. Hell, you're not even a shadow of what you could have been. Standing there, drowning in self-pity, like the world owes you something. Newsflash. It doesn't. Nobody cares about your excuses, your tears, or your endless sob stories. You think the world's going to stop spinning because you couldn't hack it. No, it'll grind you into the dirt and keep moving. That's what the world does. And here you are, ready to fold, ready to lay down like some broken dog, waiting for someone to pick you up. Pathetic. You think you've suffered. You think you know pain. You don't even have a clue what pain is. Pain is losing everything. Pain is being forged in fire and still walking through the flames, even when it burns you down to your core. Pain is not a reason to stop. It's the damn fuel you use to ignite your fight. But you let it consume you, let it crush you. You curled up and begged for mercy like some spineless coward. And now you stand here looking at me, hoping I'll give you the words to save you. Fine. You want words? I'll give you words. But don't expect them to coddle you. You're weak. Not because life hit you hard. That happens to everyone. You're weak because you let it break you. You let yourself become this hollow thing. Weakness isn't about falling down. It's about staying down. And that's what you're doing right now. Staying down. You gave up the second it got tough. Do you even remember who you were before all this? Do you even recognize the person you've become? Because I don't. I see nothing but a ghost. A walking, talking excuse for failure. Give up. Is that what you're asking me? You want me to tell you it's okay to quit? To justify your weakness? Not a damn chance. You don't get to quit. Not until you've earned the right to. And let me tell you something. You haven't earned anything. You haven't fought hard enough. You haven't suffered long enough. You haven't bled, broken, or burned enough to even think about giving up. Giving up isn't an option. It's a privilege. And that privilege is reserved for those who've poured every ounce of their soul into the fight and still come up short. That's not you. You're scared, aren't you? Scared of the fight. Scared of the pain. Scared of failing. But here's the truth. Fear is a liar. It whispers in your ear, telling you to stop, to give up, to turn back. And you listened. You let fear win. But do you know what happens when fear wins? You lose everything. Your dreams, your potential, your very identity. It all gets buried under the weight of your cowardice. Is that what you want? To be remembered as the one who gave up? To let the world write you off as another failure? Because that's the path you're on. But you don't have to stay on that path. You can choose to fight, to stand up, even when it feels like the weight of the world is crushing you. To claw your way out of the darkness, even when there's no light to guide you. That's what strength is. That's what it means to be alive. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to fight in the rain, to keep swinging, even when every bone in your body is screaming at you to stop. To keep moving forward, even when it feels like you're walking through hell. You want to give up? Fine. But understand this. If you do, you're giving up on more than just yourself. You're giving up on every person who ever believed in you. Every person who ever sacrificed for you. Every person who ever saw something in you that you can't even see in yourself. You're spitting in their faces, throwing away their faith. Is that the legacy you want to leave behind? I've walked this road before. I've seen the bottom of the abyss. I know what it's like to feel like there's nothing left. But I also know what it's like to rise, to claw my way back from the brink, to rebuild myself from the ashes. And let me tell you something, it's worth it. The fight is worth it. The pain is worth it. Because every scar, every wound, every broken piece of yourself is a reminder that you're still alive, that you're still fighting, that you're still human. You know what pisses me off the most? It's not that you failed. Everyone fails. Everyone gets knocked down. But it's what you did after you fell. You stayed there. You made yourself comfortable in your misery, like it was some safe haven. Newsflash, it's not. That pit you're lying in, that's not safety. That's death. A slow, agonizing death. Every second you waste down there, the more pieces of yourself you lose. Your fight, your fire, your very soul. It all rots away because you're too damn scared to crawl out. Don't you dare tell me it's too hard. Don't you dare look me in the eye and say you've done everything you could. Because I don't see someone who's given their all. I see someone who gave up the moment it got uncomfortable, the moment it hurt. Well, guess what? Life is pain. Growth is pain. You don't get to rise without breaking. You don't get to conquer without suffering. That's the damn price of greatness. And if you're not willing to pay it, then you're not worthy of it. You think you're the only one who's been through hell? The only one who's suffered? Get over yourself. Every single person out there is fighting their own war. And some of them are winning. Why? Because they don't sit around feeling sorry for themselves. They don't make excuses. They don't look for someone to blame. They take the hits, they bleed, and they keep moving. That's what you're supposed to do. But no, you'd rather play the victim. You'd rather let the world chew you up and spit you out, all while crying about how unfair it is. Pathetic. Fair? You want fair? Let me tell you something about fairness. It doesn't exist. The world doesn't owe you anything. Not success, not happiness, not even a chance. If you want something, you take it. If you want to survive, you fight for it. That's the only rule that matters. And if you're too weak to follow it, then you deserve to be crushed under the weight of your failure. You deserve to be forgotten. But I don't think you're weak. Not yet. Because if you were truly weak, you wouldn't be standing here. You wouldn't be listening to me tear you apart. So, here's your choice. You can keep wallowing in your misery. Keep playing the victim. Keep blaming the world for your failures. Or you can stand the hell up, wipe the dirt off your face, and start fighting like your life depends on it. Because it does. Every second you waste feeling sorry for yourself is another second closer to losing everything. You think you've hit rock bottom? You haven't. Not yet. But if you don't change, you'll find out just how much lower you can go. And trust me, you don't want to know what that feels like. Pain is a gift. Do you hear me? A gift. It's the universe telling you that you're still alive. That you still have something worth fighting for. So stop running from it. Stop letting it control you. Embrace it. Use it. Let it sharpen you, harden you, turn you into something stronger. Because pain isn't your enemy, it's your ally. But only if you're strong enough to wield it. And if you're not, then you've already lost. You want to give up? Fine. Go ahead. But know this. If you quit now, you'll spend the rest of your life haunted by what could have been. You'll look in the mirror every single day and see nothing but regret staring back at you. You'll remember this moment, the moment you had a chance to rise. And you'll hate yourself for not taking it. Is that the life you want? A life filled with regret, with shame, with the unbearable weight of knowing you gave up. Because that's what you're choosing. But if you stand up, if you fight, you'll see what you're truly capable of. You'll discover a strength you didn't even know you had. You'll become something greater, something unstoppable. And when you look back on this moment, you won't see failure. You'll see the beginning of your rise. The moment you chose to stop being a victim and start being a warrior. Are you gonna give up? Like the weak, pathetic coward you've been? Or are you gonna stand up, face your pain, and fight like hell for the life you want? The choice is yours. But know this, the world isn't gonna wait for you. It's either fight or die. So make your choice, and make it now. Let me tell you something about this world. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your struggles. It doesn't care if you're broken, tired, or on the verge of giving up. All it cares about is whether or not you'll fight back. That's the only language it understands. Strength. And strength doesn't come from sitting around, hoping things will get better. It comes from the fight, from the pain, from the refusal to quit. No matter how many times you get knocked down. You think you've suffered enough? You think the world owes you a break because you've had it rough? Let me ask you something. What have you done to deserve anything? What have you built? What have you conquered? What have you endured that makes you think you're entitled to a damn thing? You want respect. Earn it. You want success. Bleed for it. You want the world to notice you. Then give it no choice. Because right now, you're invisible. Just another nameless failure. The world is happy to forget. Do you know why people fail? It's not because they're weak. It's not because they're unlucky. It's because they choose to. Failure is a choice. Giving up is a choice. Every time you make an excuse, every time you take the easy way out, every time you let fear or doubt control you, you're choosing to fail. And don't you dare try to blame anyone else for it. Your life is your responsibility, no one else's. The moment you start pointing fingers, you've already lost. But here's the thing. Just as failure is a choice, so is victory. So is strength. So is rising up from the ashes of your own destruction and becoming something greater. That's a choice too. And it's a hell of a lot harder than giving up. It takes everything you've got and then some. It takes grit, determination, and a refusal to back down, no matter how bad it gets. But it's worth it, because on the other side of that fight is something most people never get to experience. Freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from doubt. Freedom from the chains that have been holding you back your entire life. But maybe that's not what you want. Maybe you're comfortable in your chains. Maybe you like being a prisoner to your own weakness. Maybe it's easier for you to sit here, wallowing in your misery, than to stand up and fight. If that's the case, then fine. Stay where you are. Rot in your own failure. Just don't expect anyone to save you. No one's coming. No one cares. The only one who can pull you out of this is you. And if you're not willing to do that, then you deserve exactly what you get. But I don't think you're that weak. Not yet. Because if you were, you wouldn't still be here, listening to me tear you apart. Deep down, there's still a spark in you. A part of you that wants to fight, even if it's buried under layers of fear and doubt. That's the part you need to find. That's the part you need to feed. Because that spark is your only hope. Without it, you're nothing. Just another failure in a world full of them. Let me tell you what's waiting for you if you decide to fight. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be quick. You're going to get hurt. You're going to fail again and again. But every time you get back up, you'll get stronger. Every time you push through the pain, you'll get tougher. And eventually, you'll reach a point where nothing can break you. Nothing can stop you. You'll become the kind of person who laughs in the face of adversity. The kind of person who turns pain into power. That's what's waiting for you, if you have the guts to reach for it. But if you don't fight, if you give up now, then you'll never know what you're capable of. You'll never see what you could have become. And that's the worst kind of failure. Not because you couldn't, but because you wouldn't. So tell me, are you really going to let fear win? Are you really going to let the pain break you? Or are you going to stand up, face it, and fight like hell for the life you deserve? This is your moment. Right here, right now. The moment you decide who you are. Are you a victim? Or are you a warrior? Are you going to let the world define you? Or are you going to carve your name into it? No matter how much blood, sweat, and tears it takes. The choice is yours. But know this, if If you choose to fight, you'll never be alone. Because fighters recognize fighters. Warriors stand with warriors. And when you rise, you'll find yourself among the strongest, the toughest, the unbreakable. That's the company you'll keep. That's the legacy you'll leave. What's it going to be? Give up or fight? Let me tell you something about warriors. They aren't born. They're made. They're forged in the kind of pain you're running from. The kind of pain that doesn't just burn. It obliterates. It breaks you down to your rawest form. Strips you of every lie, every excuse, every weakness, until all that's left is the truth. And the truth is this: you either fight or you die. There's no middle ground, no safety net, no miracle waiting to save you. It's just you, the fire, and your will to survive. And right now, your will is a joke. You think I don't know pain? I am pain. I've been broken, shattered, reduced to nothing more than a whisper in the void. And yet, here I am. Not because someone saved me. Not because the universe decided to show me mercy. No. I clawed my way out of that darkness with nothing but rage and sheer force of will. I didn't wait for someone to hand me strength. I took it. I became it. And that's what you need to do. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop waiting for the world to hand you a break. The only thing waiting for you is the grave. And it's getting closer with every second you waste. But maybe that's what you want. Maybe you've already given up. Maybe you've already accepted that this is all you'll ever be. A failure, a disappointment, a waste of potential. If that's the case, then fine. Quit. Walk away. Let the darkness consume you. But understand this. If you do, you'll be nothing. Not just to the world, but to yourself. Every time you look in the mirror, you'll see the reflection of a coward. Every time you close your eyes, you'll hear the echoes of the life you could have had. The person you could have been. If only you'd had the guts to fight. You think pain is your enemy. You think it's the reason you're failing. No. Pain is a gift. Pain is the one thing in this world that's honest. It doesn't lie. It doesn't pretend. It doesn't sugarcoat. Pain tells you exactly where you're weak, exactly where you need to grow. And if you're too blind or too weak to see that, then you don't deserve to rise. You don't deserve to fight, because pain isn't there to stop you. It's there to make you stronger, but only if you're strong enough to face it. Look at the world around you. It's not kind. It's not fair. It's brutal. brutal, unforgiving, and merciless. And yet, there are people out there who are winning. People who are thriving despite the odds, despite the pain, despite everything. You know why? Because they don't let the world dictate their worth. They don't let failure define them. They don't let pain break them. They fight. Every single day they fight. And that's what you need to do. You think you're alone in this? You think you're the only one who's struggling? The only one who's suffering? Get over yourself. Everyone has their demons. Everyone has their battles. The difference is, some people choose to fight, and others choose to give up. So what's it going to be for you? Are you going to be one of the weak, the forgotten, the broken? Or are you going to rise? Are you going to fight for what you want, for what you believe in, for the person you're meant to be? This isn't just about you. This is about every single person who's ever believed in you. Every person who's ever stood by you, fought for you, sacrificed for you. If you give up now, you're not just letting yourself down. You're letting them down. You're spitting on their faith, their hope, their love. Is that the legacy you want to leave behind? A legacy of failure, of weakness, of betrayal? Because that's what you're choosing if you quit now. But if you choose to fight, if you choose to rise, then you'll discover something incredible. You'll discover that the limits you thought you had were nothing but lies. You'll discover that the pain you thought would break you was the very thing that made you stronger. You'll discover that you are capable of so much more than you ever imagined. And when you stand at the top, when you look back at everything you've overcome, you'll realize that it was all worth it. Every scar, every tear, every drop of blood, it was all worth it. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you going to give up? Or are you going to fight? Are you going to let the world break you? Or are you going to break the world? The choice is yours. But make it quick, because time waits for no one. And the longer you stand here, the closer you come to losing everything. So what's it going to be? Weakness or strength? Failure or victory? Life or death? Decide now.